name is Akin Zhang, and I will be demoing T102's Capstone project, the IRes App. So we begin with Margaret's contribution. As the group leader, she set up the front end with a stack navigator, as you can see in the app.js file. And she also created the Docker compose file. So we'll run this right now. And you can see everything is working. And by running npm start, we can have the database ready. Margaret also worked on the skeleton of the CRUD API. So as we can see here, if we start our app, which we can do with npm start, and opening the Android emulator, we'll begin with one of our admin menus. So looking at our database here, we have admins that can log in through here. You can see the password is also encrypted. So we're going to create a new user account. And this also includes the token, which Margaret implemented into our project for authentication purposes. So let's sign in using the account details we sent through Postman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Margaret's contributions also include the CRUD API of the businesses and companies right here. So if we get all businesses, we should be able to see all three that are present in here. And that's what you have here. You can also delete a company. So I'll delete Berlin's business, for example. And if we get the company again, we can see that it is gone. She also worked on update company as well as deleting the company. And we'll talk about more about this as we work through the connection of the backend to the front end. Next, let's take a look at the database, which Ryan primarily worked on. So Ryan created the models, which you can see here. We have a model for admin user accounts as well as companies that we add in the admin menu. And we also have one for delivery personnel as well as visitors who enter the business. Ryan also worked on the controllers, and these are the methods which use the models to create, read, update, and delete. Lastly, Ryan worked on the routes, and that's where all these requests are being sent. So if you look at the Postman links, you can see that creating an access record requires a call to the localhost /API/v1 followed by a subset of links. Now, speaking of verification, the IRes app allows business owners to send SMS codes to their visitors ahead of time if they've booked an appointment. And this is a great time to talk about Tomer's contribution. He was responsible for implementing the SMS message sending through Twilio. So the information is in this environment file. And if we take a look at the access controller, what it is doing is it's randomly generating a code, and it's searching for that code when the user enters it. But how does the user get the code? Well, it's through the SMS controller here. So by taking the environment variables from the Twilio account, it's able to send a request to the client's phone number. And I'll showcase this with a live demo of the finished product. And this brings us to what Berlin and I worked on, which is connecting the front end screens over here into the back end of the database. So I'll first begin by creating a business. So I can do it through the Postman tests that Margaret has done. So I do need to update this token here, and we can see that the company is going to be created successfully. So let's go back, and you can see it's been added through Postman, but we can actually do this through the front end as well. So what's happening here is we're going through the Add Business Details screen. And so these variables are going to be set, and at the very end, we're going to send a post request to the API. As you can see, the routes here using the proper token, and this is going to be received by the company controller. So create new company, and that's going to create a company which we can observe in the admin menu as well as the check-in menu. So let's do that right now. So let's just do this for example. And we can see the company is created successfully. And we can observe the changes through the database over here, as well as a Postman request if we wanted to. Of course, deleting also works in the same way. And you can see the database is updated. Okay, next let's take a look at the create a new access code screen. So I did create this screen, and what happens here is that this generates a new access code and allows the user to copy it to the clipboard. So we'll use this as we go through the check-in menu. And this is what the user sees. So when we have the check-in menu, let's click visit or appointment for a visitor. And if you do have an access code, which we created over here, we can enter to receive the confirmation screen. And of course, this only takes the correct access code. If we alter it, we can see that we are locked out. If we don't have an access code, then we'll be asked to fill out the form. So I'll do this, for example, for the presentation. And I'll enter my phone number. Just going to set up the account. The device mirroring for now. The reason for the visit. And we can see that as we go through the visitor screen, the parameters that I entered previously, phone number, full name, and reason, these are passed down to this screen right here. And this drop-down menu actually includes the list of businesses that we have before. So if we take a look, we have Chicken Co., Capstones, and Keen's Horns, and that's what you can see in this drop-down menu right here. So this does take the GET request and puts the company names in an array. Okay, continuing on. Enter the appointment time. I'm just gonna put 4:30 a.m. I guess. And now we should be receiving the access code. And that's what we see right here. And so what's happening is that once the user fills in the information, they'll be sent an access code using the phone number that they entered. And so they can enter through the verification screen. For delivery personnel, the form is slightly different. We can use the same access code and enter the confirmation screen. But if we don't have one, then once again, we'll go through a form with different user prompts. So phone number, delivery company, D for example, as well as who the delivery is for. Once again, we have a GET request to find the appropriate companies. Let's say it's for Chicken Co. this time. And our parameters are passed down. And once again, you'll see a new access code being sent through the SMS. So in conclusion, you've seen how Margaret's front end and back end works, how the database created by Ryan works as well, how the verification through SMS allows users to receive the access code, and that was done by Tomer, as well as the connection of the front end and the back end done by Berlin and myself. I'm Akeen, and this was Team 102's Capstone project, the IRes App.